Yo people, welcome back to my YouTube channel. Another day, another video, and another start to the video in the car, which means we are on the way to the gym again. It's Tuesday and I have got Paul. Courtney's in the passenger seat next to me. You can just be able to see the side of me. I think it's the first time she's been in this series so far.
Series of vids.
Yeah.
Jacob's in his vlogging era.
Yeah, it is, because you've not been to... She trains at a different gym than me, so tends to go to the gym at different times. She trains at Hale, which is like 20 minutes away from EP, the gym that I train at, which is a good gym as well, but the equipment is just not ideal for me. I'm not like a bodybuilding style gym, so we go at separate times, but she's coming at the same time today, so here we are. I am gonna film, obviously you would have already seen by the title, that today is going to be a little bit of a Q&A. I put a story up yesterday on Instagram just with a question and answer box for people to throw in any questions they've got regarding pretty much anything, prep, lifestyle, whatever was on people's minds. So you never know what the hell you're going to get in them question boxes. It always tends to be a load of random stuff, or like the same person asking like a million questions. So we'll see if we've got any half decent ones. If not, then I shall throw some more questions up later on when I get back, answer them. But for now, on the way to the gym, let's answer a few. Okay. Courtney's gonna ask the questions as well. I'm gonna ask all
of the questions. First one, start off easy.
Start off easy.
How old are you?
How old am I?
Yeah.
I'm 27 years old.
27. Do you want to let them know when you're 28?
I was born in 97, July, which means I am 28 in 5 months, which is
crazy.
Yeah, which is a bit mad. Approaching 30 soon. It's crazy because people always do think I'm a lot younger than I am.
I think now that you're a little bit bigger,
yeah, for sure. But I still always get like 24. Whenever I say 27, people are like, really? When I was at ESN and I said 27, everyone thought I was a little bit younger than that.
Oh really? It's always a good thing to have. Black don't crack and all that.
I think it's, I suppose, because like a lot of the guys look older. Like people,
yeah, especially bodybuilders.
Yeah, they all look like
they all look
early 30s,
10
mid 30s,
years older, for sure. Okay, somebody asked, how does this prep compare to the first prep? Okay,
that's a very good question.
It's from Warren.
Okay, so far not entirely different. I'd say obviously it's a little bit different because I'm going into this prep already knowing kind of what's expected in terms of what's expected from me, in terms of protocols, like how difficult the prep's going to be, what my food's going to be like, cardio, obviously not to the exact, but kind of a rough estimate and guideline with knowing like what's going to be happening throughout the entirety of prep. Obviously the last prep was my first ever prep, so I was going in kind of completely blind, not really knowing what to expect at all. So I was really just learning things week to week, picking up things day to day, and really just like being a sponge with what everything Zach was saying in order for me to be like learning through the process that I was going through it. But this prep has been very smooth so far. I'd say probably a little bit smoother than the first prep, only because like I said, I knew what to expect. Like food hasn't been, it's hard for me to say because I can't really remember how low my food got that early on last time. Do you remember?
I said the other day, didn't I, that I remember your food staying higher for longer last time, but I don't know whether, you've got to think it was 18 months ago, over 18 months ago now, so it's difficult to say, but I feel like this time you've just been way more locked in, and that has been because you've known exactly what was coming, whereas the first time you were quite blind with it. Whereas this time you've known exactly what you were working towards, the goals in place.
Yeah, agreed. I think last time I had to kind of picking up my routine and stuff as I was going through. Like
whereas
the first couple of weeks were more of like a bit of a tester period.
You were already really disciplined with routine before you started prep anyway.
Yeah.
Although food was here, there and everywhere.
Yeah.
In terms of routine, training, cardio, steps, whatever, you already had that in place.
Yeah, my performance was very good. I think obviously when I did my first show, which was 2023, so that was my last prep and my first prep ever, because this is only going to be my second show, so my second time competing. So before,
not second show.
Well,
second season.
Second season, third show. But so before that first prep, I hadn't actually been bodybuilding for a while. I'd been kind of in and out of different phases of training, not sure exactly what direction I wanted to go in.
For the purpose of the video, why don't you let them know when you first wanted to step on stage, and then what happened throughout the last, I would say 5 years
Okay. I think the first time I wanted to step on stage was
2020.
Yeah, 2020, 2021.
No, 2020.
2020, the year before.
Might have even been 2019.
What year was COVID?
2020.
Was it COVID year?
It was 2019 when you first got coach.
Yeah. See, my memory is so bad, so my time's always overlapping. But yeah, let's say 2019 then. So I was very heavily invested in bodybuilding at that time. Like watching a lot of YouTube, bodybuilding stuff, documentary style stuff. All my training was geared towards bodybuilding, and I had the intention of competing that year. So I got a coach, first ever coach. He was called Chris. He was recommended to us by someone else that we knew at the time, but it wasn't like, it was never a situation where, like I have with Zach now, where I was able to get like a good relationship with him, and we had a lot of back and forth. Like it was really just, I kind of got the plan at the start, got my protocols in terms of what was needed with training, nutrition, etc., and that kind of was really it. Do you remember why I didn't compete that year?
We started coaching, and then COVID hit.
Okay, but I was gonna plan, and then COVID hit, and then that was it.
You were just, basically, you started with Chris just to see, because you'd never ever trained towards a bodybuilding show before. You'd also never had a coach. You also didn't really know what stepping on stage entailed in terms of protocols, macros. So it was kind of just to get an insight with the idea that at some point in the near future you were going to step on stage. Then COVID hit, so you didn't step on stage, obviously. And of course we had like 6 months of no training, no gym, back garden workouts. And then when gyms finally opened, you was more geared towards functional fitness, only because...
I think I did have a little stint before that when we had, as we was fortunate enough to obviously have your dad's unit, and we had a gym up there. I was looking at old footage the other day in it, and I've got quite a few clips up there. I was like training hard, bodybuilding training. I ended up with being in a decent shape then. After that period of... You was definitely lean. After that COVID period, obviously I kind of went sloppy for like that fucking 6 to 8 months that like everyone did when no one had any equipment at all. We obviously had the equipment then. I started getting back into the bodybuilding style training, enjoyed it a bit then. And then you just started to sway more towards functional training, functional fitness, running, all sorts of other stuff. So COVID hit, bodybuilding was thrown on the back burner. Started getting back into the bodybuilding style training, but interest kind of swayed into more CrossFit, functional style training. I started running a lot, hitting a lot of miles on the tarmac. I was doing quite a bit of CrossFit style training at that time as well. I got Matt Fraser's program. He has his own app. He's like 5-time CrossFit. Yeah, that's the one. He's like 5-time CrossFit world champion. I was slamming CrossFit, slamming functional training, was really enjoying it at the time, and that was probably for about a year, do you reckon? Then you also did MMA for a bit of a stint. I did for about 6 months, do you reckon? Maybe, I think it was more like a year, yeah, potentially a year. So there was a good few different phases of training during that time. I was just like super invested in fitness as a whole. Wasn't really sure exactly what direction I wanted to go in, but I just knew like being an athlete and like driving my force into some sort of physical fitness was always kind of the direction I wanted to go in. I was never exactly sure what that was going to be, although I think bodybuilding was always kind of the area that I'd always fall back into and always fall. Yeah, that was kind of like my initial passion and the thing that I was always going to fall back in love with. So I think we went to Dubai end of 2022. Yeah. And it was then where I think you were in good shape when we went to Dubai. Yeah. That trip. And discussions were just in regards to gearing up for, okay, do you want to do bodybuilding in 2023? Yeah. And then that was basically the case. You knew you was going to do it back end of 2023 in Natural Show. Yeah. So we spent the first half of the year just, you were still training, but like not to max capacity or anything. Yeah. And then we got back off holiday in the May, and you knew summertime you was going to start a prep, so that's when you started looking at coaches and getting Zach. Yeah, that was kind of, once I then got with Zach in it, I think I was pushing food a little bit already before then, but then when I got with Zach we had probably like a 5 months off season by that point, potentially, before I started prepping the summer. Oh yeah, I'd forgot about that. I had a small off-season window before, because I remember when we went to Spain, I was pretty big at that point. Like I'd tipped like 97 kilos on a scale. That was the first time I'd really like pushed food consistently for a decent period of time. Because before that I'd spent like that 3-year window after COVID, just being like extremely lean. I was fortunate enough during that period to sign with a model agency and stuff, so like my idea was just to be aesthetic. Like fitness was really just more on me staying lean, staying functional, and being physically fit. Yeah, for sure. And then once I got back into that bodybuilding area, I pushed into that off season. So tipped the scale at my heaviest, had a small off season, and then 2023 was when we went into that first prep. It was all just kind of a really fast transition and kind of a big learning curve, but I think I handled that first prep considerably well. With all things considering, I hadn't, like 6 months prior, I hadn't even thought about stepping on stage. So with it being my first time on stage and stuff, like it went really well. Like I don't really have anything to complain about or things I look back on and think.
We were both really locked in. Like we had strict routine at that time. Yeah. No, it was a good period. So there's a little bit of a background on kind of a fitness journey over the last couple of years. But even though I've run for a while, to answer the initial question, not a hell of a lot of difference between first prep and this prep. Only things I'd say is I know a lot more now. Very much in a better place mentally, physically also, like in terms of my training performance and stuff before I went to this prep. Like this last year was geared with me having in mind that I was going to be stepping on stage this year. So my last 6 to 12 month preparation has been everything focused on this prep. So I'm in a much better place and position physically and mentally going into this prep. So yeah. What is your optimal workout split?
Ooh, great question again. This is a really difficult one and a question I get asked a lot in terms of like, what's the best split? What do you think the best split is? I've said this time and time again and I'm going to stick with it. Like I don't think there is a best split or something that's necessarily most optimal for absolutely everyone. I think the best split is going to be one where you're able to train all muscle groups frequently, say twice per week for most. You can hit it at a decent frequency, make sure you're not missing any muscle groups. So say for example you're only able to train in the gym 4 times per week, you're not going to be wanting to pick something like a bro split, which is going to require 5 gym sessions. So you want to make sure you're not missing any muscle groups per week. So if you was on a 4-day split for example, you'd want to pick something like a push-pull legs full body or an upper lower, something that's going to allow you to train everything. And then I think enjoyment is super important. So for me, I've like flip-flopped between loads of splits over my years of training. Like I've been in and out of the gym for 9 going on 10 years now, which is crazy to think. I've done pretty much every single split under the sun throughout that period. But I'd say the splits that I have enjoyed the most and what I would consider to be most optimal are something that trains each muscle group twice per week. So either a push-pull legs, or for example now what I'm currently doing is push, pull, rest, pushing arms, and then legs and back. So I'm training everything twice per week except for legs, which I'm training once per week. And for me, I don't need a ton of volume on my legs because it takes me a decent amount of time to recover from them anyway. Once per week on legs is optimal for me, and then everything else I'm training twice. That way I can train everything super hard, super intense, but I don't require a shit amount of volume per day. So I can recover really well between sessions, I can train really hard, and I'm in a position where I can then grow and perform well moving forward. So if you're in a position where you're trying to figure out what the best split is going to be for you, I'd just suggest trying different splits. Make sure you can train every single day in the gym based on how many days you can get in there, hit all muscle groups, train hard, and rest well. And yeah.
Do you suggest taking creatine?
Yes.
And what are your must-have supplements?
Oh, that's a good question. Creatine, yes, I suggest taking. I think everybody who's in the gym are geared towards either putting on muscle tissue or focused on training performance. I think, yes, it's a no-brainer for you to take creatine. By far the most researched supplement when it comes to performance, recovery, muscle development, brain health. Like it's got a crazy amount of literature supporting it, all benefits with no negatives at all. People who are always unsure always talk about like, oh, am I going to hold on to water weight, etc. Like it's not something you need to be worried about at all. So I think if you're in a gym, then yes, take creatine for sure, 100%. In terms of must-have supplements was the question. I think obviously creatine being one. 2, I think a whey protein is just always a staple to have in there. I think it's difficult to consistently hit protein targets all year round through whole foods alone, so having a whey protein in there as well just allows you for some additional convenience. And if you're in a position where you need to hit them protein targets and you're in a bit of a rush, then you've got a whey protein in there. So I'd say creatine, whey protein. I think creatine, whey protein, I think an omega-3 and a multivitamin, both of them are going to support vitamin and mineral health, heart health, brain function, making sure you're getting absolutely everything in from that standpoint. I then think an electrolyte is an amazing one as well. Obviously for those of you who are in an off season, probably not as necessary for those who are in a cut or in a deficit currently. Yeah, so when you're in a deficit, obviously sweating a lot, starting to lose body fat, starting to lose water weight, electrolyte balance can definitely be out of whack. So putting yourself in a position where you're supplementing with electrolytes, I would definitely recommend. And then a pre-workout, I use Crank Pump Pro and Crank Pre, both from ESN. All my supplements are of course from ESN. Both of them two are absolutely amazing. Got absolutely savage pumps in the gym, something that I take religiously every single session. So yeah, they would be my go-to supplements.
What's the key to a thicker chest?
I think obviously when you're talking from a fitness standpoint, it's just from a muscle development standpoint, so you want to be in a position where you've got a big chest. I think training intensity is huge. A mixture of movements, so both heavy presses and accessories that are going to be like flies, so pec decks, cable flies, a few different variations through there. I think hitting different rep ranges as well, so heavy presses in the 6 to 10 rep range, and then some of your accessories in the 10 to 15. I like a mixture of both. I would focus a little bit more on incline movements for chest thickness, just because everyone tends to have an overdeveloped lower chest, so lower pec thickness tends to be easy for most to gain. Upper chest development is something that a lot of people lack, and having that fuller upper chest just enables you to have that 3D fuller look through the chest. So you know, your incline presses, so like incline dumbbell, incline machine presses, incline Smith, and you can also do like incline cable flies. I think just like any other muscle group, training intensity, recovering well, you're going to put yourself in a position to grow.
As a beginner in the gym, how can I get rid of my insecurity or my fear that I'm not using the equipment properly?
Okay, good question again. So I think a lot of people struggle with this when they start off in the gym. I think starting your gym journey can be like definitely a little scary, and it can bring a lot of anxiety with some people. I think especially if you're completely new to either sports, functional training, or you've never been in a position where you've been in a weight room before. I think obviously a lot of people with sporting backgrounds and stuff have some element of, you know, experience with that. So I think if you're going completely blind into the gym, it's definitely difficult and can be a little scary. I think one, getting a coach is an amazing standpoint. So either getting an in-person PT or an online coach, someone who can take a look at your form, advise you on what exercises to be doing, really just give you some know-how and knowledge so you don't feel like you're going in completely blind. So you've got a little bit of a starting base to start off with. If you're not in a position to get a coach or get a PT, I think there's so many online resources on there, such as YouTube, where you can just get a decent base. Like there's so many good fitness creators on there, so many people where you can take some knowledge, some tips and some understanding from, just so you can be in a position where you've got a little bit of knowledge and you're not going in completely blind. So if you can get yourself, you know, a little notepad, write down before you go into the gym on a Monday what session you're going to be doing, what exercises you're going to be doing, so you know when you walk in that gym exactly where you need to go to, what exercises to pick. And you've watched a couple of videos beforehand roughly on how the exercises look, you then have a little bit more of an understanding, and you probably alleviate a little bit of that anxiety when you go from exercise to exercise. I think obviously for anyone going in completely blind to something new where you have no understanding, it's definitely difficult. So I think make the most of all the free knowledge that is out there. There's so many content creators, like I said, amazing ones that you can look at for like science-based stuff, like Jeff Nippard, Mike Israel, a couple of really good ones. So yeah, I definitely recommend looking at a couple of them. And yeah, just to finish on that point, like there's no reason to be scared at first. Like everybody starts from somewhere. Every single person has a starting point. Like I was that person back in the day. Like I'm sure I've got an absolute ton of videos from when I first started of, well, I don't, unfortunately I don't, because I'm sure my lifts looked absolutely awful when I first started training. So, you know, lifting experience, form, technique is something that you develop and build over time. Like you're not just going to be able to go in and have absolutely a perfect technique on everything when you start off with. So yeah, don't worry about it. Everyone's in that position when you start, and it's something you'll just build with experience and time.
This is a good lead on. Are you still online coaching?
Yes, I am still online coaching, and I am currently taking on clients as well. As I said, like if you're in a position where you are either starting your fitness journey or you're looking to take your fitness to the next level, like if you've been stuck in a plateau, in a slump for a while, if you've been training for a couple of years, for example, and you want to take yourself to the next level, I think having an online coach like myself puts yourself in a position where you can really take your physique, your performance, all elements of your fitness journey to the next level. I think for me personally, like I've been in this game for a long time. For 9 years I've been training in and out. Like I know a lot of stuff myself, but I'm still in a position where I have an online coach to take away the stress of me having to worry about every single detail. I can leave that in my coach's hands. He worries about my nutrition. I just follow the plan. I stick to it to a T, and then I'm able to make the progress and see the development I want to see over time. So I think investing in an online coach is something huge and something super important if you do want to, you know, take your journey to the next level. So yeah, I am still an online coach and I am still taking on clients. So if you are interested, I will leave the link below in my description, and yeah, if you fill that out, I will get back to you ASAP.
Your brother asked this. Are you going to wear a thong on stage? No thong for me this year. I'm going to be in board shorts because I compete in men's physique. So men's physique MP is the only category in bodybuilding that doesn't wear briefs or underwear, knickers, whatever you want to call them. So for now it will be board shorts, and for the future it will be board shorts. Like MP is where I will be for the foreseeable, but who knows? Don't know what the future holds. Maybe a classic appearance may happen at some point. Who knows? It won't.
Maybe I'll be in some underwear.
No, it won't. You'll never do classic. He's not doing classic, guys. He's always doing MP.
No, MP board shorts it is. I'll do it, so I've got time for one more. I'm just about to pull up to the gym. I'm literally like 2 minutes away. This segment will probably be pretty long, to be fair, because I've talked for pretty much the entire the drive, which I'm guessing is probably about 25 minutes or something. If
I eat pre-workout food at 5:30 a.m, is it bad to have dinner at 6:30 p.m? As in, is it too long of a eating window?
No, definitely not. I think eating windows are something that can definitely be overcomplicated. I think nutrient timing is something that can be overcomplicated as well. I think for the majority of people, I think doing the basics right is the most important thing. So, you know, sticking to your, sorry, 1 second guys. Yes, I think for the majority, doing the basics right is the most important. So, you know, sticking to your calorie set point, making sure you're hitting your protein targets, your carbohydrate, fats targets, getting your macronutrients in there, making sure you're staying hydrated. Like, they are the most important things, and nutrient timing is a little bit less important than that. I think obviously if you're like in contest prep or you're gearing towards a specific competition, it becomes a little bit more important. But outside of that, I think it's definitely not something to worry about. You can definitely make significant progress still, whilst worrying a little bit less about nutrient timing, like having a window of 5:30 till 6:30 p.m. did you say? It's not something to worry about at all. I think if you're in a deficit, I'd potentially push that window a little bit shorter. For me, I leave my eating window at about 8 hours, just so I'm a little bit more satiated in the evenings. I'm a little bit less hungry in the morning, so I can push that eating window back a little bit further, have more food for myself in the evenings when I tend to be a little bit hungrier. Obviously in a bulk, let's spread that window out a little bit further because the volume of food tends to be a little bit higher, and it's difficult eating that in a shorter window. But again, it's just going to be whatever works best for you. Like, if your training's better in the morning based on you having that 5:30 meal, then eat that meal in the morning. If you're able to train in the morning and not have that pre-workout meal, your training's fine, your recovery's okay, then you can push that window back a little bit later. But just whatever's going to be best for your training, for your performance and your recovery is the most important thing. But yeah, I think that will wrap up the Q&A segment because I have pulled up to the gym. Thank you for asking the questions, Cart. I'm gonna get my shit together in the car now, net my pre-workout, and then I will catch you guys for the session in the gym. As you can see, I don't know if I mentioned it in the car, but we're on pull. Starting with the staple. Go lat movement as always, single arm, cable pull. I did a couple of warm-ups just on a conventional lat pull down, just to get my scapulas moving. And then first working set going down in here. I've got a set of 12 on the left arm. I'm into the right now. I might do one more working on this and then that'll be a wrap, I'll move on. arm, and then that's a wrap on here. Catch you guys at the next movement. Second set, first heavy working in here. I'm gonna switch the pins or the plates around, back off slightly. I'm gonna take some off the middle. I say I'll try it off the middle, put a 10 on the middle, and go for a second set on there, but I moved alright. Switching up a little bit and doing this chest body row today. It's a little bit busier in here because of the time I've come. So making do with what I can exercise wise, so I'm able to film as well, because there's a couple of movements where it's fucking super crammed around there and I ain't gonna be able to film, so yeah. Working sets already on this hammer strength single arm row. I'm going to do one more back off now, try and get a set 10 to 15 and then move on. So yeah, really nice. It's not done this in a long time, so really good connection through the lats, driving the elbow into the pocket, trying to keep my shoulder depressed, so yeah. This is going to be the last movement on the back. Another chest squatted row variation, but using dumbbells. On here, it's nice with this bench. Can really round out the scapulas. Nice squeeze through the upper back. So rinse a couple of sets in there, and then that is me finished on back. Probably do one rear delt and one bicep, and then jump in the posing room. I want to try and be rapid. So it's like a dip. I didn't charge my mics last night, so this one's on red. So see what I can get out with the mics. If the sound cuts out and goes to music, then you know why. Training this time's a nightmare, man, because the music's fucking mad loud as well and it's busy, so this will be the last time I will be training in the afternoon. But yeah, catch up with you guys in a sec. Today's video and a wrap on today's session. Obviously I'm going to do a quick little bit of pause anyway to take a look at the rig, but session was decent overall. Definitely the wrong time to train in the afternoon. Gym was mad busy, so had to compromise a little bit and make do with a couple of different movements, but decent session overall. Pump was okay, definitely feeling a little flatter. Had a little pull in food and stuff yesterday, but I will talk to you a little bit more about that in tomorrow's session when I'm on the way to the gym. But yeah, decent session. Let's take a little look at the rig and see how things are looking. Definitely feeling a lot flatter today than I did yesterday, but again, because I trained in the afternoon, I've only had 2 meals. I had meal 1, so my oats, and then my bagel, my pre-workout meal. So yeah, a little flatter, obviously. No pump through the full length through there. Obviously got no pump through the front anyway, so chest, delts, etc. completely flat. Midsection, definitely feeling a little bit tired. Still got a little bit to come off there at the bottom, but day by day, brick by brick, not feeling too bad overall. But yeah, appreciate you guys for watching. Hopefully you liked today's video. As always, please like and subscribe down below, and I will catch you guys in the